Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the podcast, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast. And today we have on Monica Shiginaga. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Monica.
Aloha. Thank you for having me today on your podcast. And a little bit about myself. Well, I was born and raised out here in Hawaii. And so what I've been doing for the past, 23 years, my company started way back in 2002. And so we've grown from, something of looking at my two dogs named Coco and Jordan. And I said, what's your mommy do? You know, I was going through a divorce and I was like, so I said, let's smash these two words together. And that's how my company got started, called Coco Jour. So we've actually started out in Japan with, back in the days, it was doggy wear. And so Japan people love Hawaii. And so I started to make, doggy wear, and then I got really into it because I used to show dogs and groom dogs out in Japan and as well as here in Hawaii and the United States. And one thing that really changed my direction, there's always fads and booms and so forth, but we're making everything out from Hawaii, and my dog was having skin issues, and no matter how much money I spent at the vet, the traditional medication, ointment, shots, end up to be, into a surgery, and nothing helped. And so I was very, very fortunate to be able to meet up with some people, and they introduced me to the microbubble, the person who actually created it way back 20 plus years ago. And I used it, and that thing weighed up like 50 pounds. And so, and $10,000 on top of that. But somehow I cracked the deal with them, and we were the first one to bring it out here to Hawaii. And I started to use that, also implementing my own technique on how to move the water inside the body. Because what are we created with? 100% water, right? And so water is the key thing. And the skin is the largest organ of the body that acts like a third kidney. And so we're literally watering into our body. And while it does that, because it creates negative ion. What is negative ion? Negative ion kills bacteria. So while it's soaking into our body, we hit certain trigger points, meridian line, and that's how we detox from the inside out. And fast forward, from there, I opened a shop. We had over 6,000 people knocking on a door instead of going to the vet. I became like, if anybody wants to adopt this dog, I'll grow back the hair. And I literally did that. We saved thousands of dogs with that system. But there was one key thing to it, is that number one, it weighed a lot. Number two, it cost a lot. And number three, a lot of people don't understand what it is, And so that's when I start to, we opened a shop, and then obviously we were just talking earlier about how expensive Hawaii is. So can you imagine my rent and the cost of running a business? And so I kind of, with the advice of my attorney and, CPA, they said it's not worth it. Plus, they were changing where I was located into kind of like a smart city. When you look at it now, it's a concrete jungle where I used to be. And
Okay.
so, with that, I jumped on a plane and I moved to LA, and I started to study a lot about what the wants and needs are.
Mm.
And if you have these three things that I always educate people about, the way a business really succeed is three things. A problem, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you have, everybody has any kind of problem, whether it's finance problem, whether dog with skin problem, whether it's yourself has skin problem,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a problem out there. But if you have a solution that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
there's your second key. So I do have a solution. The
Okay.
third thing is, where's the results? I got 20 years in my back pocket of results from every corner of the shoes. I've been in everybody's shoes, in their footstep, from a dog owner that suffered, paying thousands and thousands of dollars and getting frustrated looking at all these pills and medications and surgery. You cut my dog, and what happens? It's still the same. And so that's why I said to myself, if we're so lucky to be out here in Hawaii, and the strongest element we have in touch, which is the water, let's create something like that. So that's how I jumped forward. After I went from LA, learning so forth, and from there, to we got hit with COVID. And
Yeah.
when we got hit with COVID, I literally 1 week before I jumped on the plane, and I was telling my client, I'm going to work out from home. And he's like, what? I said, I just have a funny feeling something really bad is going to happen. And it
Yeah.
did. And so by then, my brains were already going, because back in 2019, I was trying to convince Japan
Mm-hmm.
to make another machine. Why? Is because once again, when I was in LA, my dog got misdiagnosed. And I kept on telling the vet something is wrong with her female organs. And there's like, no, she has, she's had kidney problems and and I'm like, no, honey, I know what I'm giving my dog and I know what's going on. Literally 3 days later, she's gushing out from her female parts. And I had to take her to emergency she had pyrometria, and we had to take out all of that. And that's why her gut and everything else was leaking with toxin.
Okay.
Yeah. And so obviously I didn't have my machine. I'm not going to be carrying this heavy old machine to LA with me. So I again jumped back on the plane, went back to Hawaii, tried to get that machine going because it was electricity. And the only thing that really irritated me, like I was saying, all these, bad part about the machines that was out there, it was also recycled water. So everything was all clogged up and I couldn't get back the damn machine to work. And so that's when I said, okay, we're going to take out, once again, I went down the checklist, the weight of it, the cost of it, recycled water of it. Let's do it pure in and pure out. And voila. Now,
Voila.
like I was showing you, this is only weighs 7 pounds.
So what do you call it? What's the name? What do you call it?
I call it my Minico Micro Bubble, because Minico, once again, me and my two words I'm smashing together, because mini miracles.
Ooh.
And yeah, so because there's so much people out there, because when people get, I don't know if right now, there's a lot of micro bubble. They say it is. But micro is like saying inches and centimeter.
Yeah.
And so you can't trademark those words, or you can't trademark itself. So I have a patent on my word, minical. Why? Now I can prove it, because it's pure water going in straight from the spigot, from the water source, with no electricity. It's all eco-friendly. So what it does is it pushes it all out, and it all depends on the power of the water flow. So it can be micro, it can be nano, where it just becomes little mini bubbles, as we say in Hawaii, tiny bubbles, right? In Hawaii. So that's what I actually created and also instill on how to hit certain trigger points in your body once again, because our body lack of good water source, like anything else, right? I mean, you looking at LA right now and Malibu, I mean, that fire after all of that, imagine that is like our body, with all that airborne and everything. So now during COVID, when I said airborne, people now understand the language I speak, because before everybody's like, oh, airborne, yeah, whatever, but now everybody's like, oh, I get what you're saying. And so more and more people are getting much more environmental conscious about what is actually happening there. And this great thing about this machine, it's not only good for pets. We do horses, and guess what? Humans.
We're gonna break down that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I did a challenge with a papaya, I'm like, I know there's chemicals on these vegetables, so let's do a papaya. I actually turned the papaya, and we can do a podcast on that. Literally, a green papaya, I turned it into a yellow orange papaya.
Amazing. In like a minute or what?
Less than a minute. It's just taking out all that film of chemicals that's keeping the produce looking like that when it's actually old produce. So they actually kind of put a coloring on it to make it look like it's still fresh.
Amazing. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. Even I have my clients. Most of my clients are actually pet owners, because because of the price of it and all of that stuff before, it was only more gears to groomers or veterinarian. Now it's open,
accessible,
where people are now getting more confident. And I said, listen, if I can do it, you can do it. You have a problem. I had a problem. I figured out a solution, and now I'm giving everybody my results of 20 years. Yes, everything in life, it's not about, it's really about knowledge becomes your power. So and everybody's, oh, it's because of you. You're changing, you're getting dog back and da-da-da-da. I'm like, no, I'm proving it right now. And I literally have one client who had really bad skin problem. Malaysia.
Her dog.
So she came actually for her dog, but she also had eczema and all that, issues. So I said, why don't you try it? When she first came out, I was like, oh my God.
Who's this?
I'm like, and her mom was like, she see her daughter suffering from that for all these years and years, and she goes to the dermatologist. And then so she bought the machine like that, and she came back 10 months later. And you can see it on my website.
Yeah.
It's literally gone, her face, and her whole self is turned into a different person. And so that's what I'm saying, is that people, there are things out there. If you look through the ocean, the water, you will find us out here. And this is something, that's why I really wanted to give back to the community. And especially, you can't take back what I have, 20 years of experience. So that's why we created an online courses. And I love to teach, like I said, because knowledge is power. And no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have access to water, you're able to use this, because you don't need electricity, is eco-friendly, and most of all, you're helping yourself become much more healthy. And why I said that, because I'm my own guinea pig. And I literally, my doctor said, you have fatty liver. And I'm like, what? And that's really hard to get rid of. I mean, medication is really about taking care of it through your inner self. So once again, me and my challenges, I have another problem. Now I got a fatty liver, right? So I went and I said, let's do it. And I said, okay, I'll take the challenge. And then every 6 months, we'll check on the blood tests. Guess what? I got proof in the pudding. It literally went down, and my fatty liver said, bye-bye, aloha.
This is
So
amazing. This is some amazing stuff, Monica. I'm curious, like, why? What is like holding you back from taking this and like sharing it with the world, putting it all over social media? Why is that not happening?
I think it's because getting people's mindset to change is the biggest challenge. I mean, we saw it during COVID, right? Everybody needs to get the shot. Everybody needs to do this. Everybody needs to do that. So we are conditioned to flow with whatever, that's out there
Mainstream, yeah.
in the mainstream. But we're not in the mainstream. We're out here working with what nature has given us. And maybe because we're born in Hawaii, we take advantage of this situation.
Yeah.
Right? That's why people tune in to watch Hawaii 5 or Magnum PI to get away to paradise. And look at that beauty. And that's the beauty that we're bringing into ourselves and making people understand. Like, I mean, it's amazing. When I saw her 10 months, I literally got goosebumps. I'm like, I mean, even though I created all this stuff, I was like starstruck, like, oh my God. And she's like, I know. So when I asked her, she was just going on, and I just said, do you mind me videotaping this? Because this is like real
stuff.
Yeah. So she ended up with 1 minute going on to 3 minutes about everything about what she experienced herself. And at the end of this, she said it's worth every penny.
Amazing.
And so when you hear something like that, it's just reconfirmation, and that's the reason why it's like, why I didn't hit that is because people are very doubtful, because this is really an eye thing that you have to see what is the difference. Like I mentioned, that we can maybe do another podcast where you can literally see the difference in a scientific point of view, what I'm talking about. And then you're going to get an aha moment like, oh, wow. And so that's why we also give people, because everybody talks about the dogs. I mean, where is it not that you don't talk about your dog, whether it's itchy, stinky, smelly dogs, or my dog is the most cutest princess ever. It doesn't matter, because now dogs are part of our family. And so, it's really about educating people and really working with people. So that's why, for me, we created that affiliate program where we different stages of where they want to start, because out there everybody's talking about drop shipping with Amazon or drop shipping with this or that. And for me, I took a little bit of that and put it into my system where everybody can bring it into their own social media and talk about their journey and how it changed. Like I just mentioned about that lady and about dogs. I mean, I have people who does self-wash. It's changing the whole game. Like people's like, huh? I mean, did that really happen? My dog is really growing back hair. And it's like, exactly. Because we're using, once again, the largest organ of our body that acts like the third kidney that we all forget is our beautiful skin. So, I mean, there is a lot that, people are always searching for the next big thing. And, we can search and then people gives up. And I said, you know what? Just believe in the process. Because once you believe in the process, you're going to start creating your own journey. And I did. I mean, I never thought it. When the doctor told me I had fatty liver, and I'm like, oh, hell no. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to get rid of this. And I don't even drink alcohol because there's 2 types of fatty livers out there. And I can show you the next time my results, how it went down. Is like, and the doctor's like, huh? How did you do that? So we also have horse vets. We have one out here in Hawaii that takes care, of horses. So horses are now getting into it. And during the Malibu fire, I had somebody out there who has a machine and she's working with horses now than dogs, so it's an open field. I have my clients whose husband is fisherman, and they have to wash their fish. So he uses this because he just carried it in, hook it up to the water, and voila, he's cleaning his fish. So,
Amazing.
and it
So,
gives, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Come on.
No, and so it gives you a lot of different ways. So whether you are a fisherman, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a dog lover, a dog parent, grooming business, veterinarian, anybody can create contents because it's you. Now it's the you of how we're all connecting. I just mentioned, I don't watch TV anymore. So I'm basically watching other people and how they can do it and how I can, it's a learning process. A lot of times, oh my God, you've been in business for 20 plus years. You must have everything done up, but you do, but there's always things that to improve yourself. So you got to start back at one. So that's why I said it's not how long you're in your business, it's how long you want to put yourself into that goal of yours to create that business and make it manifest into something like I never dreamed of. And now it's really like I can look at a dog through that and say, okay, this is going on, this. They're like, how do you know? And I'm like, and that's what I can teach. Yeah, and it's something like once people get into it, people will understand. I mean, I have, like I said, self-washing stations out there where they go and, it's a little bit more, but guess what? Their ROI comes back less than 1-2 months, literally. And I teach them how to do it, because it's really about being open-minded instead of the traditional way of they said that you can't, with my dog Lily was down to like bones and walking like this. And I came back, and that was the thing, is that I had to drag another new machine out from Japan into my apartment now in LA. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, with all this gadget on top of that is electricity, I'm going to get electrocuted. And that's when your mind, even though I know what the results are, I'm going back. So now I'm going backwards because I know what the results are that I had my belt in for the last, over 2 decades. And I'm looking like, I know the results. What is the solution? Let's make this machine into something that I want, that everybody could use, no matter where you are in the world. You can be out camping and you don't want to use that water, just hook it up and you got your own clean shower, go fishing, go clean it all out. So I didn't went backwards that one.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Yeah, I like what you said about it's all about perspective shifting, because what's mainstream now, people don't know about this. They're going to be skeptical. And what I would say, like, imagine I was your business partner, right? 10 years ago, if it was 10 years ago, I would say, let's get you on, fucking Shark Tank, right? But right now, if it's 2025, guess what I would say?
Get on a podcast and be your own boss.
Get on the internet, get on social media, because it's basically your own, it's Monica Tank, you get to run everything. And oh my God, it's just amazing.
It is, because that's where I went from. I went from a problematic thing Lily, I'm back. I mean, you talk about people. I was literally doing, I have videos of me way back in the days where I was with a camcorder and my mom's over there going like this, and I'm over there in front of my garage with my Japan people and try to do this. And next thing you know, that took me from my garage to my back of my yard, created my own oasis back there. And then I'm like, okay, we got something. And then I opened a brick and mortar, which a lot of people came in. But then once again, society crashed and they decided to build all these concrete jungle. And I couldn't, I mean, I'm going to end up paying rent and employees and XYZ and all that stuff. And I just said, you know what? Even though people may see it when you close a store or, you know, a brick and mortar, that you're a failure. It's not being a failure. I'm always saying that a chapter closes for you to open up your soul. The windows are opening up your souls to see something else that's much better. And that's where we can't let society eyes tell us what to do. When you can prove, wait a minute, there's something more to it. And, you know, at my age, I'm at that point where I'm going to be helping others, where I can say, listen, how many times I went from a problem to a solution to a result. Then I saw, okay, I have now another problem where I know what the results are and I go backwards. And now I'm like, I got all of these contents, and exactly what you say, the now world is really about social media, because it's really about all that different noises that's out there. What really resonates to you? And when you resonates to something that people has problems with, you start building that trust, that love, that aloha.
Yes.
And that's what I'm doing, is literally spreading the aloha spirit. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't take all your money to the grave. I always say that. And I love about what you just mentioned about what you guys do. You guys give back this opportunity to help people. And it's the same thing, just like with our affiliate program. I mean, people can create, and all we do is exactly drop ship for them, and we can work with them and create a new business, because there is not only a limited, if you expand your mind and your horizon and look at other issues or problems, you know, there's so much avenue to do it. And so that's why when I say,
Amazing.
you know, what made me do your podcast is because you encourage that, you know, you encourage that there is not just it. It's also the more you give back, the more I always say your success is my success. And if we have more people with that mindset, guess what? Everybody's successful in one way or another. Whether you taking that first, or whether you've been taking that steps and you're frustrated. I mean, I have a lot of retiree people who's one of my biggest, you know, ambassador, talking about it all day long, because they're retired and they have their dog and the kids are all gone, and you know, and they just love it. They're like, I didn't do anything. I said, yes, you did. You talked about our product. You end up selling it to the next person. This is my aloha back to you. And so this is one way that how we can spread through social media, or even every day at a dog park or walking or at the grocery store. I'm always looking at dogs like, oh, honey, you need my micro bubble. Or, you know, I see somebody that needs it, you know, and so that's why it's so great when we have things like this, because guess what? Who would have thought that somebody out there in the Pacific have some outrageous thing that actually works? Because guess what? We were never taught about water in our part of our education system. And that's how,
definitely.
Right? And, you know, is that about, sometimes we do need medication, XYZ, but if we take the alternative ways of trusting in a process, which you're actually trusting in yourself, because the process becomes less toxic. Stress becomes a chemical reaction into your body. Our body becomes more susceptible with these airborne. So during that time of COVID, and I'm not no doctor, and I'm going to claim to anything, why people got more sick is because the
Yeah.
and so that's where it's good to do, take other things. And that's why it's social media is exploding, whether it's podcasts, whether it's YouTube, whether it's, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We don't know how long TikTok is going to live. Yeah.
Tell me how, like, what are you doing right now on social media? What's your strategy in terms of taking this message out there? Because I'm assuming, the way you're speaking and how passionate you are about it, you are trying to educate these people and just give them that, just change your perspective. So what's your strategy behind that right now on social media?
I think the more so is a strategy of actually, starting back from zero. Because people will say, oh, because of you, you're the one who did it. That's why the dog is growing back hair, or because you did some kind of fancy stuff. And I said, no, anybody can do it.
And what do you mean? What do you mean?
Meaning that anybody can actually heal themselves or their pets. And so I took that perspective and saying, here's the mic. Now it's all you. And so I try to get, not me, I say in the back of the pack now. And I encourage people in how they can do it on social media. I came back, and like I said, I was in LA for a while, and I came back and my team went to look into what it is out there on YouTube. I didn't even know that I had 2.4 million views on one of my videos on YouTube.
Amazing.
And I'm like, what? Where did that come from? You see? And so that's why I really love about YouTube, is because of exactly my experience on that one. And back then, when I had the start, and this is going back 2000, I would say that video was probably 2009 or 10.
And it's got, wow.
And yeah. And I was like, wow, so I have now 2.5 million views on all of these things, because that's another thing that, that can generate, that you can break it apart, chop it down, and then curate into these short videos, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Reel, on your, Instagram or Facebook. That's how you create it, because we all don't have, so much time in our hands right now, because time is money, right? But you need to actually put yourself into it. If you want to make money in many different ways, how can you attract them? Is by creating real content. And that's why when I talk, people listen, is because, oh, she knows that she doesn't shut up, because she has so much knowledge to her power.
Yeah.
I mean, I always make it a joke when it comes down to microbubble. If a kidnapper kidnaps me, he doesn't want the ransom. He's gonna throw me back and say, "Give me the damn machine," And that's how passion comes. Yeah, that's how passion becomes part of your lifestyle. It just kind of reaps out. I mean, when I tell people how old I am, they're like, "Huh? Are you really? How old am I? Are you really?"
Let me guess.
Okay, go.
I was going to say 40, 45.
Plus.
Amazing.
I'm 50. I'm 56 or 57. I forgot how old I am, but I'm in my mid 50, 56 or 57 next month. I got to, and because I don't feel that age. Why?
Yeah.
It's because of the power of water, And like I said, when my dog got sick back in LA in 2014, it cost me $6,000 in emergency. And I told the doctor, the vet, and I said, I think it's something wrong with her female organs. And he said, you're right. She needs to do a hysterectomy because she has pyrometria. And I said, bingo.
Yeah.
And when that happens to the kidney, humans can go to dialysis and stuff. Good luck in finding a vet or a place that does dialysis for your dogs. and you have to put them in strict diet, XYZ. Guess what? I use this baby. She's running like a crazy mad dog. I have her. And everybody's like, I'm sorry, but I thought she was a goner, but look at her. She's crazy now. She's running around the whole entire damn park. And I'm like, I got something. I got something, you know, and that's where
Amazing.
patience is virtue, because you're going to get the results if you believe. It's always the belief factor, you know, even though you like back in the days when I did that video on YouTube and I put it up there and I thought, whoever sees it, whatever's right, is like whoever sees it will get great information. And then it turned out millions of people
saw it. Yeah.
want to see how it works, because I told them how to get rid of it by using neem and this and that, you know, and sometimes they gave out way too much free information, you know, and it's like, because that's when you want, when you have that passion and people can feel it, people can sense it, and people can feel it. That's why it's so good in this generation, why social media platforms work. You know, whether you're doing what we're doing, a podcast, whether you're doing your own contents, whether it's, I guess now you can move up your reel from 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes now. So there is a lot of things that we can do. And so, you know, for me, we do have business courses where I become your coach and give you my journey. It's not like, oh, wait, well, I'm going to try to figure it out. Hey, I was in your shoes. Let's work it. What is your problem? Let's work with your problem. We can work with a solution, and here's your results.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
And you can always go backwards from your results. What is the solution for that problem? So it's always really in that process, and never give up, because, you know, passion is something that we have, and in Japanese we call it ikigai. Ikigai mean your purpose.
I heard about that. Ikigai,
yeah. So I bring in a lot of Japanese philosophy, the Zen feeling of it, as well as I bring in our Hawaiian ways of doing it. We're a little bit different than the United States. We're more geared towards the all natural way of doing things, and I think more people are more aware of that now, you know, because they've seen what happened. They've seen the craziness that's happening. I mean, everywhere you turn around, whether it's a plane, you know, crashing, guess what? That crash created a whole bunch of toxic fumes and airborne things spreading all over the community. Fires that's gushing down, all of these huge thunderstorms now washing away into the ocean and getting into our system. This way you can get out by doing all of these, you know. And so I'm always open-minded. I'm never closed-minded. And that's great about what people with a like-minded community, you know, can come together and say, instead of saying, you're not doing it this way or doing it that way, I just got a text and say, hey, this person is, and I said, no, their value is much more than that. I'll give them a call. You know, and so this is where we come in as coaches, as mentors, to help people. You know, like you said, the Shark. Yeah, a lot of people told me to get on the Shark Tank, and I said, why? So somebody else can take my X amount of revenue.
Exactly, it's the U tank now.
No, honey, I'm in power because I got my power to give back to the people, and I know where. And I know we can do this because.
What's the plan? What's the plan in terms of getting the message out there for 2025?
2025 is an exciting year where I'm putting out there, and like I said, we have our affiliate program, which is affiliate, an ambassador, a VAR, which is a value-added reseller, and a VAR plus, where they actually become distributors and the machine and make very good residual thousands of dollars by selling, you know, our machines. And so that's where I come in to help businesses and coach them and, bring it out, because it does take a process for people to find each other. Like, who would have known I found you out in Dubai and I'm in Hawaii? That's the power of what we have, the people that nobody us. I mean, like, I don't watch TV for what? Because they take about, my house, I couldn't get connected. I'm like, why am I paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for TV that I don't even have time to watch? So much things of not in my mainstream. I'm not into that anymore. My mainstream are the people out there who are young, meaning the age is not, when I say young, like you just, it's not about the age. Look at me. I'm restarting how much time my engine of what I found over 2 decades ago, and I recreate from zero. So nothing is wrong starting out from zero, because guess what? Zeros are going to multiply.
Yeah.
And not
amazing.
it's not only in your bank account. Imagine giving that zeros back to the people.
Yes. I think that's the most important part. And I think for you, you mentioned your goal, and that's an amazing goal. And I definitely think you can do it and get more. But what would you say is the number one thing that would kind of hinder you in terms of 2025? Like right now, what is holding you back from becoming that version of yourself where you are doing all this and making it happen? What is holding you back?
I guess what's holding me back is putting together 20 plus years of knowledge. I mean, listen, I'm not no tech person. And we have platforms where we can use it, where they have online courses. And people think that is so easy to create. Yeah, if it's copy and paste, but it's hard to copy and paste all of this from my brain into this. And literally, our classroom is filled with, as we grow, over 100 courses in there. And so that's what I'm doing, getting calls, from actually my people on what they want to do. So I'm at that stage of what's holding me back is, most of all, I guess I got too much on my plate that I want to burst out and teach. And I need more people. I need more people to spread the aloha spirit, meaning giving them that power.
More awareness, more reach.
Basically. More awareness is the key point, and like I said, you have to get in, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, midnight is my time to look through social media and find it. And that's when, when the world is quiet, that's when your brain starts to work of that silence, because we're creating the resilience of power in us. We're not what we're just attracting. So I guess, really what's holding me back is really getting more people to understand that water is the true gold. Water is really better than crypto or anything else. I'm saying that. I mean, great example. Look at the fire. They ran out of water. And what happened? So many people's lives were destroyed.
In a minute,
like that. And their whole body is now intoxicated. Now we can, unfortunate those kind of problems, we can come in and go backwards and say, hey, let's try this. And they they start using it. They're changing, and they're creating their new business. And so it's really like a metaphor, like a butterfly. Right now, my butterfly garden for the last 3 years was not flourishing. For some odd reason, I have so much butterflies. And it's like that. It's just a recycle of life. And if we think that, if you think you're giving up, I mean, like, what happened to my tree? What happened during COVID? I made this into my sanctuary. There used to be a lot of butterfly, but then now, tons of butterflies. Now I'm making my rose garden with my own vegetables, and I'm in my micro bubble, and everything is like growing back to where it's supposed to be, And, I have a lot of farmers that's out there just really using it because they're tired of all these chemicals, on that's on there. And so really it's just getting a group of like-minded people to really believe of what you create and just spreading the word out, and I think that's my goal, is really getting people, me taking the step back and pushing them forward, creating their contents, and help
And you know what?
that. Mm-hmm.
If this means anything to you, I don't know how much this is going to mean to you, but I challenge you, Monica. This is my challenge to you. 2025, take this out there. Change the narrative. That's what I would say. Make this your responsibility. Change the narrative. Whether you do it on your own, whether you do it, get a team, whatever you do, because this is amazing. The amount of results you're talking about. You're talking about that lady who you changed her entire face. When I was typing, I was actually looking at the website and I actually saw the result. This is life-changing stuff. So you need to put it out there and change the narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And it's like, okay, I remember when I first did it, when I came out with another machine that was electric, and it was in 2011 in Vegas. It was the Super Zoo's biggest pet shows. And I was doing it. I had a whole bunch of people, and some of the I will call the minor birds were chirping and saying, "What is this? Some kind of Hawaiian witchcraft?" I'm like, no, it's called power of water.
Just water.
Yeah, and that really hurt me. It's like, and that's kind of like gave you some doubtness. Like, I'm not doing any kind of, I'm not doing anything that's wrong. And that's when people mindsets, because they're so used to saying, give a shot or give medication or give this or give that. We're living in the now where, 5 years later after COVID, I'm talking people's language. When I talk about airborne and when I talk about contamination, when I talk about this, it's not no conspiracy theory. It's life. And when I say about water, find me an education that taught people about water.
You won't find it.
You won't find it except with us, and that's the spirit I want to teach back to people. And people be like, no, she's for real. She ain't BSing. This is for real. And it's there, and that's what I want to encourage people. Whatever you do, whether it's my product that you want to jump in, I'll be there for you, and like you said, we'll take the Mike and I will take the challenge, and we'll bring in the next guest and the next guest to inspire people, and how to do it, because everyone's story is different. My face is not like that lady's face, but she had a problem with her dog. And then she asked me, you think it can help my skin? And I'm like, go down. I have actually another room where they can take a private shower to use the system. And like I mentioned, when she came back, I was like, oh my God. But what really made my heart, gave me that, was the mom's face. And I even have her in the background in that picture where the mom was smiling from ear to ear. And like I said, 10 months later, you see it on our website, the results talks for itself, and everyone has a story. Really, everyone has a story I have sometimes where people will go on and on for hours about their stories. And really, I said, you know what? This is such great stories. Why don't you do something for yourself and create a business? And we'll take care of the rest, And so that's where that's another thing. We're not a multi-level marketing. I remember when multi-level marketing was at one point a huge boom, and that gets lost in the shuffle. Your downline, your upline, and all that other drama kind of stuff. We're not that. We're actually really, like I said, a company that took all these problems, created a solution, and here's the results. So run with the results, and we're going to help you doing that. And so you can
Yeah.
create, a franchise. You have to give X amount of percentage to the franchise. I don't want your money. I want your success. Your success is my success. When you become to a certain point in life, it's not about the dollar sign. It's about how much.
Yeah.
It's about how much zeros, which I call bubbles, that you can spread out to the world. And whether that's where that word miracle creates its own magic. Little miracle will create that miracle of life, that you will only feel healthy, your body will feel healthy, your pooch, your family, everybody is getting a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
I swear to God, money cannot buy that
It
happiness.
can't, never.
And,
Some people say,
mm-hmm.
a lot of coaches that I speak to, they say that feeling when you see someone and you're able to help someone get over that bridge, that journey that they've been trying to get over, it's like having a kid. Like that emotion and that kind of joy that fills you up, it's like almost like having a kid. They equate it to having a kid.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's a priceless gut of happiness.
Yes. And I
And
think
when you do that, you bring that all the way. And people always say, what is the aloha spirit? This is the aloha spirit. The spirit is something that is is
you
the
share it.
spirit that you share.
Mhm.
People always say, we come to Hawaii, you can smell paradise. Like literally, you get off the plane, you smell the flowers, you smell the naturalness, you smell like aloha.
Mm.
And and that's the thing that I want to spread, that joy. And also, because I am Japanese and I can speak that language, and I did study a lot and you can Google it, Dr. Masaru Emoto. He is a doctor in Japan who teaches about water. And unfortunately, he did pass away. But
Okay.
the
You
knowledge
studied
and
under him.
I studied with him, and it's an incredible journey. That's another thing that I can talk about. Like I said, I'm like filled with contents that I don't even, I can just pull it out of the rabbit's ass out of my head, to tell people what the next thing to do, and that's why if you have, and you're looking for people to mentor, or find out, do your due diligence. I've done it. I don't know how to make my courses online. What I did was back in 2019, for especially LA, I mean, that's the market to go to all these classes and all these, go and learn how to speak with people. Speaking is really how much the truth will come out. Because we can see when people, it's like, okay, there's the same old playbook that they're talking about, And when you see people talk about dogs or themselves, I mean, it's like, drop the mic, here we go, it's like, yeah. And that's what it brings so much joy to people, is when you have the ikigai, that will, that passion, that power, guess what? You become that powerhouse, and
You become aloha.
you become
You
aloha.
embody aloha. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think this is amazing. I think
Yeah.
we've kind of, come full circle here from the beginning when we started speaking about all this, and to this point where it's like you be able to show them, you're able to tell this story. And for me, really, this story, because it's easy to say this is an amazing story to anyone, but this is actually like, I've never heard of this before coming on here. And it's like, you're blowing my mind. And I just want you, because you're right challenge. I just want you to put this message out there and get as many people to like be aware, open your mind, And so I would just end and say, like, where can the people go to find out and learn more about this?
They can go on our website, cocojor.com, spelled COCOJOR.com. We also have free discovery call, where it doesn't matter where you are in the world, because we have a little bit different time zone. So, I do work with nighttime. I talk to my staff out in Japan and people all over the world. And for me is, I'm here to help, and to give them that and give them the right way of finding your true self, whether it's our products or whether it's mentorship, because I've been in business for a long time. And, a lot of people say, well, she's not driving. And I'm like, you know what? The real people are not out there popping champagne or driving
on a yacht
or on a yacht and stuff like that. Real people that really made success are people like you and people, that wants to help people.
Yes.
Because like you said, that feeling
That is aloha.
That is aloha, and there's no dollar sign. We don't put that on, even though they tax us a lot out here and put up prices out in paradise. But even though that's happening out here, we're still smiling, and we're still, try to get other things. That's why, for us, we also, guess what? We also have this, payment plan where we don't charge interest for 12 months, just so they can get started. You have to pay something, pay half down, and the rest we put it on no interest finance. And at the same time, they become into our ambassador, and guess what?
Yeah.
That pays for itself if they sell a machine. So I always find ways to, if this and that, and that's where we have to work. So once again, they can find us at cocojor.com, which is COCOJOR.com. And hit the button, and even on our social media, there is Cocojor Hawaii. That's our Minico Micro Bubble. And we also have Facebook. I'm not really into TikTok because I'm not into
You
dance.
should. That's the way you're gonna change people's minds.
Yeah.
You should change your mind about that. Why are you not into TikTok?
I guess because I really was not. I got a lot of things. So I was so busy getting into my classroom, and my classroom built up, in the last 2-3 years. Like I said, even though I've been in business for a while, building a classroom for courses, and that was my challenge for the last 2-3 years, because I'm not tech savvy, and all things is like, oh my God. But you are right. And now that we got TikTok back in, I am going to attack that market. For me, that's a huge. So that's something that we're going to go back in there and hit the TikTok market. But just look for Cocojor. We'll be here, and we're always here to support people who are looking and finding their true value. Don't devalue yourself, because life is too short to devalue. And I have another great story, if I could kind of put that out there. I had this girl, we had a workshop out in this place called Waianae, and Waianae is like the Compton of Hawaii. And, the kids out there, and for me, is giving back. So we did a workshop. This girl who was doing her dog, she has, because out here in Hawaii, we have a lot of bully dogs, and they have a lot of problems and, skin issues. So she was doing it, and I said, oh, she's special. She gets it. Next thing you know, her parents was knocking on my door, and she said, I don't know what you did to my daughter, but she has autism, and she usually don't say anything. Last night, she wouldn't shut up. She kept on talking and talking and talking, and we need to get the machine. And she was 16 years, and guess what? And she said, I know what my future is. So we have young entrepreneur, and it doesn't matter. She has autism. She's cracking it out there, and she's getting paid $45 an hour plus doing our service, going down the street and doing that, And so those kind of things that really, there's no excuse. If you have a passion, go for it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, I have special needs. We're there to help you.
Amazing. And we can talk for hours, Monica, about this, about your journey. I think we should definitely find a way to get that second one in, because there's so much to cover. And but for now, it's been amazing having you on, Monica. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
And
Thank
hopefully
you.
We can get you on some other time.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, in closing, I say mahalo nui loa.
Mahalo. Mahalo, guys. See you guys another time.
See you. Aloha.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?